What's up, guys? It's D Brown with Track Hits, and today I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Track Hits. So, I remember this quote that Usain Bolt said that his coach told him before he really got on the scene in 2008, 2007, 2006 era. His coach said to him,
You got to remind yourself that you can't win everything. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, for sure. That's how the sport is. And the first thing my coach taught me when I was in the sport is that you got to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win.
Usain Bolt's coach said to him that in order to win, you must learn how to lose. Um, Kind of like a paradox, because how do you learn how to lose, right? And it's crazy. I've been running track for so long. Like a little over 20 years I've been running track for on different levels and stuff like that. And it's funny, like this this quote just now hit me in like the biggest way, um, in the way that I carry myself when it comes to taking L's. I personally believe that the quote means that before you can win, um, you know, you have to know, like when you take your losses, you have to know why you took your losses. There's always a reason why a person didn't reach their goal, or a person didn't win a race, or just in life, not even like track and field. But it's very important for a person to understand that when you come up short, what was the particular reason that you came up short? Because there's always a reason for something, right? Was it something out of your control? Was it something in your control? Let's say you're running a race, right? You're running a race and your goal is to run 22.5 in a 200. But instead you run 22.8, right? You look at, and you're upset. You're upset, you're emotional about it. And a lot of times people may just quit because they're frustrated. A lot of people may just give up. And a lot of times, according to that quote, it's important to take a step back. And upon taking a step back, taking everything, observe everything that happened in that particular meet, gauge everything that you could control, everything you couldn't control, and figure out what you actually had control of during the race in those 22.8 seconds. Um, and I think a lot of times it gets lost on us how important that process is. Because if you don't take that process seriously, you can find yourself in a situation where you're blaming yourself, and you're being really hard on yourself on something that you can't control. Imagine you're running a race and, like I said, you're running 22, your goal is to run 22.5, but you run 22.8. It's a negative headwind, it's rainy, and it's cold. Those are three things you can't control, right? You can probably put on long tights. That's going to take care of the cold, but it's still rainy and it's still windy. You can't control the wind and you can't control the rain, right? So is it your fault that you ran 22.8? Probably not. But in future races or in future events, if you just stay the course and correct any things that you may see that you can control, um, it'll put you in a much better position, right? And you won't be as stressed out when it comes to taking L's. That's something that I had to particularly tell myself when it comes to some of these races. Sometimes I find myself in a position where I have certain goals that I want to reach. And for some reason, it's like, dang, I didn't reach these goals. But when I truly, at first, you're emotional about it because you expect to run one time, but then you don't run that time and you run a much slower time. And it can kind of be embarrassing sometimes, right? Because you have the expectation upon of yourself to run a fast time, but you don't. But I feel like a lot of times when you take a step back and you really look at the 360 of things, unemotionally, just pure, just take an observational look with your observational eye of everything that you can control and you can't control. And uh, you can't control and you can control. And I feel like when you do that, a lot of things start to become really obvious to you, right? A lot of things start to become really important, um, that you may have not noticed before. So, with all that being said, I really want to make a distinction, guys. I really want to plead to you that if you're going through any L's in track and field or just in life, really look at the reasons why you're making those L's. And I feel like when you correct those L's, the things that are inside your control, and you really like put your attention and focus on it, you'll be in a much better situation than what you thought that you could be. Um, like I said, this is something I have to constantly tell myself if I'm ever dealing with any L's. After it's tough sometimes because you get caught up in the fact that it's a loss and you get really emotional, but it's like sometimes you can't control it. You can't control weather, rain. You can't control, the things that you can control is, if you popped up too fast in a race, right? You need to be more patient. But, you have to identify that mistake first so that you can correct it and be successful at a later date. So, like I said, guys, that kind of popped into my head. I just wanted to make a quick video about it because I'm sure there's a lot of people that dealt with losses, sometime in the season, and maybe your coach didn't talk to you, and you're kind of still dwelling on that loss, and it may be keeping you from going back in training or going back into certain races and stuff. And it's very important in order to overcome that, um, to really make sure that you identify why. Honestly, like, why did you lose? Why did you lose the race? Why did you lose, you know, making your goal? Maybe it's to qualify for state nationals. What happened? And make that correction and fix it and make yourself a better athlete for the future. All right. So with all that being said, guys, I hope that helps somebody. It definitely helped myself because I've been dealing with some L's as of lately that we're gonna get into in a future video. And I'm gonna show you guys how I made the correction to hopefully be successful in the future. So with that being said, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching. It's D Brown with Trackheads. Peace.